Star Trek just called out one of Captain Picard's worst quirks, and honestly, he had it coming. For decades, Captain Jean-Luc Picard has been celebrated as the epitome of Starfleet leadership, calm under pressure, eloquent in diplomacy, and unflinchingly moral. Patrick Stewart's iconic portrayal turned him into a paragon of intelligence and restraint, earning him the admiration of Star Trek fans across generations. Yet, despite all of Picard's virtues, the Star Trek universe, ever unafraid to poke fun at its own mythology, has finally called out one of his most irksome quirks. And, honestly, he had it coming. The quirk in question is Picard's notorious habit of refusing to delegate when he arguably should. It's something subtle yet pervasive throughout the next generation, a kind of micromanagerial streak buried under layers of diplomacy, gravitas, and moral certitude. Picard is perfectly capable of trusting his officers, yet somehow, he often insists on handling situations personally, even when the crew is clearly competent and more than capable. Think about the countless holodeck missions he insists on taking part in, the away missions he commands personally, and the delicate negotiations he insists on leading solo. The implication isn't that he doesn't trust his crew, but that he trusts himself just a little too much. For years, fans have quietly joked about this. Captain Picard, just let Worf handle it. We've muttered while watching yet another tense standoff in a corridor of the Enterprise. The thing is, in Star Trek's latest iteration, specifically in Star Trek Picard, the show's creators decided to lean into this trait with a self-aware wink that borders on merciless. In a recent episode, Picard is once again embroiled in a mission that clearly could have been delegated to his younger, more agile team members. Yet, in classic Picard style, he insists on doing it himself. The result? Predictable chaos, a near disaster, and an almost comedic level of exasperation from his crew. What makes this moment particularly satisfying is the way the show frames it. Rather than just having Picard make a misstep, the episode allows his officers and the audience to react in a way that says, without words, we've been telling you this for decades. It's a rare instance where Star Trek openly critiques its own hero, poking holes in the infallible image that has surrounded Picard for 30 plus years. And it works brilliantly because it doesn't undermine him. It humanizes him. It's a reminder that even legends have quirks, and sometimes those quirks are annoying as heck. The quirk also highlights a deeper narrative function. Star Trek has always used its stories as mirrors for human behavior, ethics, and leadership. Picard's tendency to overstep delegation isn't just a personal flaw. It's emblematic of a kind of leadership style that prizes personal responsibility, sometimes to the point of impracticality. It reflects the tension between wisdom and stubbornness, between trust in one's team and trust in one's own judgment. By bringing this quirk to the foreground, the show isn't merely being funny, it's inviting viewers to reflect on their own leadership tendencies. Who among us hasn't taken on a task we should have delegated? Who hasn't thought, if I want it done right, I'll do it myself? Picard's flaw is human, and that's why it resonates. Of course, not every fan reaction has been entirely positive. Some argue that poking fun at Picard's quirks risks undermining the gravitas that made him iconic. After all, he's supposed to be the model of calm, rational leadership. Mocking him feels almost sacrilegious. But the genius of the show's approach lies in balance. The humor isn't mean-spirited. It's affectionate. The writers clearly love Picard, even as they point out that he is, like all of us, imperfect. It's a testament to the franchise's willingness to evolve, acknowledging the past while keeping the storytelling sharp, relevant, and, yes, occasionally self-aware. The moment also opens the door for a subtle character arc. Picard's refusal to delegate has long been a source of tension, not just in life-threatening missions, but in his relationships. By bringing it to light, the series hints that real growth might come from acknowledging this flaw, learning to trust others in ways he never did before. Fans who have followed his journey from the starship captain in The Next Generation to the retired admiral in Picard can't help but see it as a full-circle moment. The infallible captain confronted by the consequences of his own perfectionism. It's satisfying, cathartic, and, in a strangely comforting way, very, very funny. So yes, Captain Picard had it coming. Not because he's a bad leader, but because he's been stubbornly carrying the burden of perfection for decades, refusing to let anyone else shine. And in a franchise that celebrates growth, self-reflection, and occasional humility, Calling out Picard's quirks feels less like an insult and more like a long overdue acknowledgement that even legends are human. It's a gentle ribbing wrapped in storytelling brilliance, a reminder that the Enterprise's greatest captain doesn't always have to be flawless to be inspiring. Sometimes, it's the flaws,